A lot of us are rolling around on one of his brainchilds. His name was Henry Ford. He was going to hire a new engineer for one of his plants, and he had two very qualified applicants that he decided he'd take out to lunch as sort of a pre-interview. They went out to eat a pretty nice little restaurant. They talked about current events and things that were going on in the world and enjoyed a good meal. There toward the end, when the waiter brought the check, he was getting up to leave, and Mr. Ford looked at one of them and said, "You know what, I think I've made my decision. You're going to be a good fit for my company, so you're hired." Well, the other old boy just sat there just dumbfounded, as they hadn't went through an interview process, hadn't talked about engineering or qualifications. They were near genius. He finally worked up the courage to ask Mr. Ford. He said, "Sir, we didn't talk about anything that was relevant to the position. Yet you made a decision on who you're hiring. How did that come to be?" Mr. Ford looked at him and said, "Well, it's pretty easy, to be honest with you. Two things that made my mind up. When the waiter brought our steaks out, the other gentleman tested his first by eating a bite of it to see how it was seasoned. You didn't hesitate to even taste your steak. You just immediately put salt on it, assuming it wasn't seasoned correctly." He said, "Secondly, every time the waiter came to the table, the other gentleman acknowledged him and was kind and thanked him for the service that he was giving us. And you ignored him and just made sure your kindness was directed only to me." He said, "Neither one of those traits I want at my company. He said, first of all, you have to test something before you know if you need to change it. And I saw you didn't have that ability to do it, even with something as simple as a steak. And there is no hierarchy with me. Take people at face value and appreciate each one of them for the job that they do. And honestly, sir, you failed at both of those. So that's why I went with the other applicant." It's a pretty good lesson.